With another warning that Canada could be heading for recession next year, what can you do now to protect yourself? Certified financial planner Robyn Thompson joins us now with tips on how to survive the economic downturn. Nice to see you again.
Good morning, Annette. Congratulations on the new studios. They look amazing. I can't wait to come back and see them in person.
Can't wait to have you here in person as well. But for now, we use Skype, right? So
exactly. This is where we're at right now.
So I can imagine that the step number one to protect yourself would be to try to reduce debt.
There are so many different things that we can do ahead of a potential recession. So one of the things to remember is that recessions are generally a very disruptive part of life. So when you look at it, you have to remember that things ebb and flow. So there's generally job disruption, job loss, business loss, bankruptcy, in general, overall financial pressure on families. So one of the things, as you mentioned, is to take a look at debt. One of the biggest figures going into recession, if we do enter into one, is potential job loss. So what's important as we enter into this potential phase, that you're streamlining your cash flow so that you're paying towards your debt. So when you hit recession, if you do lose your job, that you're not in that position where you're being taken out in the middle.
So you're not relying on credit cards or lines of credit. Now, how about for people who have just bought a home with huge mortgages and the threat of increased interest rates as well? What do you do there?
It's a big question, and I hear it all the time, and rightfully so. There's another interest rate meeting happening next week on the 13th, and we're likely going to see an increase for sure. Now it's going to be either 75 basis point, which is being 5 basis points right now, but the 1% is an outlier. That is going to hit rates. So as people are now in their homes, they have rising interest rates. Inflation is high at 7.7% as well. So people are being hit on every side. So what you want to do here, and although it sounds impossible, it's not, is to pay attention to your savings rates. And this is why. Because if you are someone who's in a mortgage that has to renew at the higher rate, you need to make sure you have enough inside your savings accounts to help with those bigger payments that are coming down the road. So increasing your savings rate is going to give you the padding you need to be able to live through this, both from a financial perspective as well as a psychological perspective. Because the last thing we like to hear is, oh, we bought this dream home, we put all of our money into it, and now inflation, interest rate, markets, it's a tough place to be, but it can be done, and you can help it with savings in your account to give you the padding.
And for some people living paycheck to paycheck, savings very, very difficult to even start.
It really is. So it's really about understanding, first of all, we've had cheap money for a long time here, Annette. So cheap money, and we've also been in lockdown. So people vision around your ability to assess how much they can actually save has changed. So sit down this summer, take a look at a budget. What are your discretionary expenses? What are your non-discretionary expenses? And where can you shave some here, shave some there, and start to put a little bit away? Because when the rates come and inflation continues to insist, or hopefully it goes down with all of the rate increases, it's about having the peace of mind that you've got something aside to be able to help you. So even if it's small amounts from here, small amounts from there, paying down your debt, your higher interest rate debt, so you do have some more availability in lower credit cards if you have to use credit cards, but hopefully you have a line of credit or access to savings. It's going to give you some ability to be able to make it through. But it's really here and now about control what's coming in, control what's going out, and know that things are going to go in cycles. We're going to see the economy move like this. It is not going to continue to stay here forever. So focus on the things that you can actually control.
Okay, what if you're on the stock market or in the stock market right now? It's a crazy ride. Do you dump now or do you buy more? What do you do?
Yeah, and dumping is the question. People are like, do I sell everything and do I stay? What do I do? And the first thing to do is not to panic. The markets have been in a downward spiral since the beginning of the year. The S&P TSX, which is our broad-based index here in Canada, is down 11%. S&P 500, which is the U.S. market, is down 20%. The tech-heavy NASDAQ is down 30% year to date. So this is not the time for you to panic and sell all your investments. What it is the time to understand what kind of investments you have, and then why are you holding those investments? If you're retired and you're looking for income, make sure the investments that you're holding are generating those dividends and distributions that help you create enough cash flow to be able to meet your lifestyle expenses without selling down positions. Now, if you are younger or you have a longer time horizon and you like to take on a bit of risk, Now is the time, Annette. Things are on sale. The market has been beaten up, and when it corrects, it will correct, and you'll start to see those levels come back up. So,
okay. Speaking of time, Robyn, we have run out of time, but can't wait to get you back on screen. CHCH.com will have your links to your social with more advice.
It was great to see you. Take care.
You too.